Hi, y'all. It's Tony. I'm a hiking and adventure mama to 7-month-old baby RJ. Today's video takes you through a day in our life when we are visiting my dad in Utah. We'll show you how we start the day, prepare for a hike, hit the trail, and spend family time in nature. At the end, I'll talk more about behind the scenes chaos of our adventures because, as always, we like to keep it real along the way. At any point, if you want to skip around, check out the timestamps in the description. All right, let's get into it. These initial clips show glimpses of our routines at the house. So G-Paw works part-time in the mornings, and RJ and I are spending some mama-daughter time. Before her first nap today, our activities include things like slow moments together when she first woke up, doing things around the house like cooking, feeding solids, floor time play, reading books, and so on. Are we always out and about? Definitely not. We absolutely have plenty of moments at home too, and I wanted to include these as well. Once RJ woke up, we went out to say hi to G-Paw and we started talking more about planning the hike for that afternoon. This shows my dad doing some planning. He likes to use different apps. He's cycled through a few. Right now, his favorite is Gaia. Personally, I've been using All Trails, which I've really liked, and I found it pretty easy to use. He's just getting some coordinates. He's mapping out the route. Next, we got ready to just get outside a bit, go for a neighborhood walk in the morning. I like to try to get out as early as possible, but also I like to wait a few hours just to let it warm up as well. So often after baby's first nap. And we are currently experimenting with RJ being in a more traditional hiking backpack carrier. And so before we take her out on hikes using that, we're doing some tests in the neighborhood just to make sure it looks like she has nice neck control and is comfortable and kind of getting out the kinks of positioning. But so far until now, we've actually had her in a carrier that I have strapped to my chest. And when she's sleeping, she'll be facing my chest. And when she's having her awake time, she will be outward facing. But this is something new that we're trying. And so G-Paw joined us for just the first few minutes of our walk to get outside a little bit, take a break from work. And then RJ and I continued afterwards and had some mama daughter bonding time. After we got back, I made some lunch, and while RJ played, I ate. Next, we moved on to prepping for our afternoon hike, which definitely takes a lot of time and effort. So sometimes I even do it in chunks throughout the day. And baby RJ hung out with me and played with different things like our jackets and random gear that I'm trying to get together. There's certainly a lot to think about for preparation, and we always over prepare, especially when we bring baby on hikes. And so we're making sure that we have extra jackets, we have gloves, we have hats, we have little booties for RJ. We also need to consider making sure the diaper bag is together, that I have the carrier, and so on and so forth. So baby definitely had a lot of time to play as mama ran around to get things sorted. Next, I prepped some snacks slash early dinner to bring on the hike with us while RJ had some more solids in the high chair. So right here, she is eating hummus, which she also loves. During this time, my dad was finishing his last meeting of the day, which today was around midday. And so while he was finishing up, I also took the opportunity to finish up some cooking for the day. Honestly, we have so much fun in the kitchen together. I am majorly looking forward to when she can start helping me even more, like mixing things, stuff like that. G-Paw had actually gotten ready before this meeting, so that way, as soon as he hung up on his call, we could hit the road because that's what was best for RJ's nap schedule. And then once we got to the trailhead, RJ and G-Paw played for a while in the back seat while Mama got ready. and I'm not known to be the fastest person. Sometimes it can take me 15, 20 minutes just to get myself sorted. So I have a routine where I first put on the waistband of the carrier. Next, I strap on my diaper bag, which is actually in the form of a hip belt that wraps around the hip belt of the carrier. And then before I actually buckle the top part of the carrier, I found that it's more comfortable to put my backpack on first, and then I hook the top part of the carrier underneath the backpack straps. And that's just one of those random things where it took me a while to figure out, okay, what's more comfortable if I put backpack on first, if I put it on last, etc. So I do that and I loosen up the side straps, and then in goes baby. The weather was fantastic. Normally, I'm wearing this big jacket using one of my dad's jackets, and it is roomy enough that I can wear it over baby girl and I while she's in the carrier and it zips up nicely. But I didn't even need to worry about that today, so that was nice. RJ fell asleep pretty quickly, and we had a lovely hike in. The weather was fantastic. She loves when I am moving in order to stay down for her nap. Let's say my dad needs to stop and take a drink of water or something like that. I actually pace back and forth and I find a spot that's typically pretty flat off to the side of the trail so that way baby stays asleep. We saw these awesome bighorn sheeps on our hike in. I literally like didn't even stop. I took out my phone to record a cool video and then I was on my way because RJ will wake up if I stop. The hike into Jeep Arch is especially nice because you can see the arch from further away, but then when you get more and more up close and see it from a different perspective, you can see more and more that it looks like a Jeep. RJ woke up once we got to our destination, and we kept her in the carrier for just a bit while we took some photos underneath the arch. We do typically have full wake windows with RJ when we get to our destination. Even before she was born, my dad and I loved just hanging out at our hiking destinations for an hour plus and really taking it in, eating, hanging out, and talking. So this wasn't really a big transition for us in terms of timing. And it's so much fun playing with baby girl in the nature and just the natural outside. She absolutely loves. And so she will play with things like rocks and she'll sit up with us as we eat and find parts of our meals or our packs or our gear that she just likes to play around with. Sometimes we'll even do tummy time on the rock, and it's just such a blast getting to be with her and have these moments outside. I found a spot to nurse RJ for her feed. Before we hit the trail again to head out, I did a diaper change with RJ. Essentially, I get my hip belt out, I lay down some extra jackets that we brought, as well as an additional cloth for protection. And then I get out my diapers, my wipes, my cream, just anything I need, hand sanitizer. And we have changed baby in just the most crazy places. Like it really doesn't even matter at this point. You got to do what you got to do, right? If it's on the side of the mountain, if it's beneath an arch. And hey, she gets great views during diaper changes as well. We had a nice hike out, and right as we were getting to the car, the sun was starting to go down behind the cliff walls, which made for some really lovely scenes.
All right, so it's a couple days after we filmed the 7-month-old day in the life video. We're out for another hike. And if you hear baby RJ and Jeepa in the background, they are hanging out just right outside the screen while I film this. Anyways, I realized that with the day in the life video, we pretty much cut off right after our afternoon hike. And there's definitely a reason for that. And that's that I really didn't do a great job like tracking and, just kind of understanding her rhythms of the day when it came to the nap and how the hike influenced it. And so she ended up getting pretty upset because she had a few naps get interrupted and didn't sleep long enough. And so by the time we got home, RJ was not a happy camper, and it ended up being, a lot of soothing her. And it just kind of reminded me that when it comes to going out hiking with your baby, I'm all about like they're going where you're going and they're learning a lot and experiencing a lot. At the same time, though, right, I like really trying to understand still her rhythms and how that does fit into things. So, for example, I've noticed that when we go on shorter hikes, like if we do an afternoon hike after GPA's meeting, if baby falls asleep in the carrier on the way and it only takes us an hour to get to our destination and maybe she sleeps 30 to 45 minutes, if we take her out of the carrier at the destination, she's not a happy camper. So I'm definitely all about taking baby on adventures, but it's also a reminder too that we're still thinking about, okay, what kind of mileage are we doing and how does that influence baby's nap schedule? So I had this whole conversation with GPA actually this morning about it seems like when we do longer periods, like 5 to 6 miles, she actually does a lot better because she gets her full hour and a half long nap or excuse me, like hour-ish to an hour and a half long nap. Honestly, there's so many considerations like that. I can't even keep them straight in my head. I think I probably need to like sit down and think about, okay, there's the mileage, there's the, also how long we're in the car for. And I think a lot of that just comes over time. But I just thought it would kind of be helpful to talk a little bit about the chaotic nature of these adventures, right? Like it's not all picture perfect, like at all. We're always like adapting and pivoting and learning things about RJ, and aligning ourselves more with her natural rhythms. I will stop babbling, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you next time. Bye.